Okay, so the past week and a half we've been working on word problems. And today you're going to mix all the types of word problems together. So you have to recall everything we've talked about. We started off talking about word problems where you were given a slope. So remember, a slope is a rate of change. Rate of change. And there were some key words that helped you know that you had a slope. One of the key words was like per. $10.99 per gallon. Another key word would be like each. $7.99 each t-shirt. Or even the word every. So there may be some word problems where you're given a slope. You also might have a word problem where you're given a y-intercept. Remember that y-intercepts are always starting points. So if you're given a start fee, you're giving an initial fee, anything where you're starting is a y-intercept. And the last thing we talked about is how to know when you have ordered pairs. And ordered pairs are x and y values. So x values, I told you, was always time, minutes, seconds, days, years, or individual amounts. Time, individual amounts. And your y values are always your totals. Total money, total items, things of that nature. So in this worksheet today, the problems are all mixed up, and you have to decide, did I give you slope and a y-intercept, slope and a point, or 2 points? So I'm going to do some of them with you, and you may have to finish ones for the remainder of class. Okay? First one. Example number 1 says a computer store charges for materials. That's important. Doesn't tell me how much. And also charges per hour for service. As soon as I see that per hour, I know the charge per hour has to be my slope, but they didn't tell me the slope. To install 2 new programs in a connection. The cost C, I'm going to circle that because I have to change my letters. The cost C in terms of the number of hours each is represented by the graph shown below. Well, if we have a graph, we can find our equation in slope-intercept form. So if you all look at the graph, you should be able to tell what the y-intercept is. The y-intercept is 50. You now have 2 choices to find slope. We learned how to find slope by using the counting method. If you want to do the counting method, you would count 50 to 100 is up 50. Then I go right 1, which is 50 over 1, which is 50. Now let's say you didn't want to do that. I taught you all how to use stat on your calculator. So if you don't want to do that method, anytime you see 2 ordered pairs, there's an ordered pair 1, 100. There's the ordered pair 2, 150. You are now permitted to use stat on your calculator. I don't care if you use stat or not. If you want to use it and you have 2 ordered pairs, you're permitted. Either way, we have our y-intercept, we have our slope. I'm going to write y equals 50x plus 50. But I have to recall that my equation cannot be written like that because I have to have a c and an h. So I'm going to replace this y with c equals 50h plus 50. And there's the first thing I need for this problem. Now I highly encourage you to make sure you know what these 50s are. I said when I read up there, that was the charge per hour. So this is $50 per hour. And then at the top, it said that a computer store charges for materials. So this must be the start fee for materials. It says, how much will a 6-hour installation cost? 6 represents time in hours, and time in hours is always X. So we must write X equals 6. Now recall, you can use your calculator and you can go to your table and type it in and go to the table to find it. Or you can just type in 50 times 6 plus 50. And the answer to the very first one is $350. So if we look at this question was pretty much slope and a y-intercept. Okay? So let's go down to question number 2. Question number 2 says, a home security company provides security systems for $5 per week. I'm going to stop because that should mean something to you. The word per helps indicate that this is my slope. So I know I have a slope here. Plus an installation fee. Your installation fee would represent your y-intercept. But they don't tell us what the installation fee is. So we're going to have to keep going. Before I keep going, I'm going to write m equals 5. Because 5 is representing our slope. It says the total fee for 12 weeks of service is $210. And that right there represents my ordered pair. Remember, will this be 12, 210, or 210, 12? So think to yourself the things we've talked about. Time always has to come first. So this has to be 12, 210. These 12 is time in weeks, and 210 is your money. So I'm going to stop because I have a slope and I have a point. So we must use point-slope form to get our equation. So I'm going to write y minus 210 equals 5x minus 12. You're going to put your equation in point-slope form, and then you're going to do the distributive property. Y minus 210 equals 5x minus 60. We need to get y by itself, so we're going to add 210 to both sides. And I get y equals 5x plus 150. So put it in point slope to get it in slope intercept form. Then I'm going to go read again. If the total cost C can be represented as a function of times in weeks W. Well, first off, you need to change your letters. So this is going to change to be, instead of y, we're going to put C equals 5W plus 150. So this is the first requirement, this equation. I know the 5 is the charge, $5 per week. But we didn't talk about the 150. The 150 is the installation fee, because it said there was an installation fee and your starting point is your y-intercept. So then the question says find the cost of the installation fee. We're going to say $150. And that's question number 2. So we have one more here on the front. Number 3, a house lost electricity during a snowstorm. After 1 hour, it is 9 inches tall. I'm assuming that's talking about this. I don't know what that's talking about. But 1 hour is time, and 9 inches tall is height. The candle continues to burn, and it is 3 inches tall after burning for 4 hours. So this must be talking about a candle. And there's no per there. There's no start height of a candle there. So this one must be 2 points. So I'm going to write 2 ordered pairs down. Now remember, time always comes first. So 1 hour, 9 inches tall. 4 hours, 3 inches tall. So make sure you just don't go by what the numbers are. I'm going to add a note here. X was time in hours, and the Y was the height in inches. So this question is using your stat button on your calculator. So you want to go ahead and grab your calculator. I'll write down the directions if you forgot. You're going to press stat. Make sure your memory is cleared. After you press stat, you're going to press number 1, edit. And remember, L1 is your X value, and L2 is your Y value. So you want to put both of those values, 1, 9, and 4, 3, in your calculator. After you get those all pressed in, you're going to press stat again. After you press stat, you're going to arrow over to calculate. We did this in class for the past 2 days. You're going to press number 4. It looks like linear regression. And then you're going to arrow all the way down to calculate. If you follow the directions correctly, you should have your slope and your y-intercept. So the equation we should write is y equals negative 2.5x plus 11.5. I need to make sure I know what all this means, because this is about a candle. So let's put some notes. The y-intercept is the starting point. So this must be the start height of candle. Start height of candle. And then this negative 2.5 is how much it loses 2.5 inches per hour. When the candle's burning, it's losing 2.5 inches of the candle per hour. Make sure you know what your equation means. So now we're going to read, and it says if the candle's height is represented by the hour the candle burns, and how many hours will the candle be burnt out? If the candle is burnt out, that means the height of the candle is 0 inches. And 0 inches would be the Y value. So I want you to go on your graphing calculator and find where the Y would be 0 on your calculator. And it's not exact. So between what two amount of hours is the candle's height 0? It's between 4 to 5 hours. So that's an example of each of the kind we did this past week. There are 2 problems on the back. I probably will do one more video to do the one at the top, and you guys will have to finish the one at the bottom. So we're going to stop this video at this point right now.